All right, DrinkyBear coming in hot. Hey Jesse, can you hear me?
Hey, yeah, I can. What's up?
Hell yeah. Nothing
Yeah.
much. Hell yeah. How you doing,
Hell
Jesse?
yeah.
This is awesome.
I'm doing super swell. I've been having a great day.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
Nick, thank you for that gift of sub to Kadami, you sweet soul boy. You didn't have to do that.
By the way, Rydar, I love him. I love his accent. One of my best friends is from Australia. So it's like, oh, it's like I'm talking to him.
Oh hell yeah. Were you guys talking in the call queue then?
Mm-hmm.
I love it. I love that. Yeah.
Oh, he's great.
When there's more than one person in the call queue, it's always I'm like, hey, I know you guys some of you guys are muted if you can hear me, but like, you know, feel free to talk to each other. It's always a great time.
Oh no, he's cool. We're talking about COVID.
Ooh. What's why did I say ooh like it's not like a surprising thing? It's like on topic all the time.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
Well, how's everything going, Jesse?
Things are going really well. You know, I've working my new job. Things are great. You know, I'm back into retail.
Okay.
You know, it's cool. You know, I was telling Ryder, like, I got people who come in and they're like, oh, you don't have to wear that mask. Like, COVID's nothing, blah, 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 blah. Or, oh, you know, they're like, well, I don't know if I should wear a mask.
You're still in Florida, right?
No. I live in Georgia.
Oh, Georgia. That's right. I'm sorry.
How dare you? Florida?
Yeah, Florida, yeah. You know what? I thought humidity, and I was like, Florida. We've talked a bit about heat.
For sure. But yeah, I was listening to your call earlier. You were talking to your friend about his coming out story.
That's true. Yes, we were doing that. And were you looking to share yours?
Yeah, you know, I had a really interesting one. It was thing is, like, I grew up even when I was really young, I knew, like, I didn't really know the word for it, I guess, at the time when I was really young.
Mm-hmm.
But I kind of knew I was different. And then when I was like 12, 13, 14, I guess, I don't really have a good measure of time, but I almost kind of got pushed out of the closet because I used to have like this big notebook that I would draw in and like post pictures in, like a little scrapbook almost. And this guy who I had met through a high school friend, it was one of those cases where it's like, oh, he's gay, you're gay, you guys get along. And we actually ended up getting along, which is great. But he gave me this pride sticker that I put on the book. And at the time, I had a younger brother and sister who were like 2 or 3 at the time, and who would get into my stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And they had grabbed that book and went and gave it to my mother.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and she actually called me when I was at this guy's friend's house. It was like, hey, can I ask you a question? And I was like, okay. And this was one of the first times it was one of those, can I ask you a question?
Oh, yeah. You were just talking about that in chat with Nick.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And
can I ask you this question?
I was like, okay, what's up? He's like, are you gay? And I said to my mom, I was like, I didn't want to hide it anymore, and I was just over it. And you know, I'm a teenager, I'm kind of rebellious. I just whatever. So I was like, yeah, I am. She's like, okay. And it was a long silence, and she was like, well, I still love you. My sister was a lesbian, and I was like, oh, okay. Yeah. So I was like, okay, well, yeah, you know, I am. She's like, well, and the next thing she said was, well, don't tell your dad. And I'm like, okay. And that was it for a while.
Okay.
Yeah, and
that is kind of funny. So that is a kind of forced coming out, I guess.
Yeah, it's like I didn't really have a choice. It was like, "Are you?" And I was like, "Well, I could say no," and she would believe it because she could have been in denial if she wanted to be.
Right.
But yeah, she was like, "Are you gay?" I'm like, "Yeah, I am."
Wow. So that's I guess
yeah.
Was it like did it feel like a nonchalant conversation, or were you sweating bullets or anything like that? What was the feeling you had?
For me, it was kind of like I had this, like, you know, when your heart drops to your butthole.
Yes.
One of those. It was kind of that, and I was like, well, I'm just gonna come out and say it. I'm gonna hold my breath and see what she says. And she told me that. I was like, okay.
Pivotal.
And my mom's
Thank
always
you
been
so
really
much.
cool, and even to this day, I can tell her anything.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So it was great for that, and she was like, okay. Well,
and what was the whole like dad conversation? How much later did that happen? That
came maybe a few months later, because I guess maybe my brother found out, and my brother told my dad, I was like, hey, you know, Jesse's gay. So one day, at our old house, up at the top of the stairs, my dad comes home and says, hey, Jesse, I need to ask you something. I was like, what's up? He says, are you gay? And I say, yeah. He stares at me. He says, no, you're not, and walks away.
Interesting, Dad.
Yeah. He was just like, no, you're not, and he walked away and didn't bring it up for maybe months, maybe years.
Oh, wow.
He just, like, because he's old school Mexican, comes from Mexico. His dad was super strict, all that. That's not part of their culture. So,
is he religious as well? Did that play a role in it? Okay.
Yeah. He says he's religious, but doesn't go to church.
Yeah, that's a lot of people who are religious and don't want people actually having fun.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And then, and at the time, I also started going to this organization called Youth Pride in Atlanta, where adolescents who were gay could come there and like talk, and it was like a community program, which was really cool.
That's really cool. Wow.
Yeah, so that helped a whole lot because I could go there and just like be myself. And there was even a time I showed up once in like a skirt and leggings and like high heel boots, just because I wanted to try it, and everyone was really cool about it. So that really helped. And then like fast forwarding, like now my dad's like he understands, he gets it, he's fine. I've talked to him about it, and he's still kind of in that uncomfortable area where he doesn't want to say the word, but he understands.
Understood. Like it's super taboo. Like if you say it enough, like Beetlejuice.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, and like the thing too is like as a teenager, like 18, 19, like I used to wear like this is back in like this cool scene area.
Yeah.
So I would wear like eyeshadow and makeup.
I'm familiar.
And have, like,
I'm familiar with the scene area. I was a scene boy as well. Yeah.
Were you really?
Yeah. Yeah. Not like I guess I wasn't allowed to experiment that far, but I had really long hair that I straightened.
Oh yeah.
And I was a drummer and I was in a hardcore screamo band and shit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So like I could do that, but I couldn't do it when he was around. Like my mom was cool. She was really cool about it because I had a big interest in makeup when I was like 17, 18. So she would buy me makeup and she'd be like, "Hey, I found this. Maybe you could use it." I'm like, "Yeah, cool, awesome, thank you."
Oh, that's awesome.
But I could do it around my dad.
Yeah.
And then eventually I started to get more ballsy and I would do it, and he would like call me out. Like one day I came home I worked at Spencer's in the mall.
Oh yeah.
And I came home wearing pink eyeshadow, and I didn't know he was home. But I opened the door and there he was. He's like, "What the fuck's on your eyes?" I'm like, "Just some stuff for work." He's like, "No, wipe that off right now." I'm like,
Whoa.
"Okay." Yeah, but I got old enough to where it was like, "What are you gonna do to me? You gonna hit me? No? Okay,
right.
Then I'm gonna do what I want."
Yeah, let me express myself, Dad. Mom lets me. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm really cool, and everyone, he's like, "People are gonna make fun of you." I'm like, "No, people like my makeup, and people like the way I look. I have a lot of friends."
Yeah.
But coming from where he comes from,
But you get beat up for that, probably. Especially like if you're surrounded by the same mentality, and also like how old school that was. Back then, like homophobia was like okay. Back then it was.
Oh no, I actually I haven't told a lot of people, but I dropped out of high school because I got bullied so badly.
Oh wow.
Yeah, like there was like just a group of guys who used to just like throw shit at me and hit me when no one was looking and make these jokes that I knew the teachers would hear but wouldn't say anything.
Yeah.
And it just got really bad to where I left school. I had a really good friend at the time, and we would just skip school and do cool stuff like go to museums or go hiking.
Arguably more interesting than school for sure.
No, definitely, and learn a lot more.
I bet, dude.
Yeah. I mean, in looking back, I was like, "Oh, I should have finished school, blah blah." But I think, no, I had a really good time. I did what teenagers should do: have fun, go wild, and
you could easily go back and do it. There's like online courses and shit like that. I feel like we're in the information age, dude. It's never gonna be too late, and it's gonna be way easier than than actually
and the
going
thing too
to
is
it.
like, I had all these peers who went to college and went into a ton of debt to go to these different colleges, and then right after that, no one could find a job and no one could get work.
Yep.
And I'm like, okay,
you're looking at them.
Yeah. Oh, buddy.
That's hey, I got a degree for animation, and I was mediocre at pretty much everything.
Really?
Yeah.
What kind of animation?
Mostly it was motion graphics, so like After Effects, that sort of thing. But I haven't kept up with it. The only like I use the only application that I still use and mess with like video editing wise is Final Cut Pro and Motion, which are both on Apple stuff. Like one time, you buy it. I think it was like I was working at Apple too, so I got those applications for free associated with my account forever. So like I didn't have to pay for them. So those were my main applications. That's how I made like all the edits and like transitions and the intro. That's all done by me.
I look at those and I'm like, those are really good. And I want to ask you, like, how do you do those? Those are really good. I want to learn how to do that.
Yeah, that's just a lot of it's like a lot of the I would say the way the software works for Final Cut Pro and Motion is it's extremely accessible, and all the tutorial quote unquote stuff, like how you would go about learning anything, is that you literally turn on like a setting that's just called help with a check mark, and it has like the full manual. So if you're like if I wanted to green screen, you type in green screen, or not even green screen, you type in green in the help section, and it brings up the manual for the software with that specific, you know, chroma key or whatever you want to do.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah, that's how I did the whole, like, you know, the two of me playing at the table. That's just like a green screen keyed out section.
I saw that, and it looks so good.
Yeah, it's just, and it's quick too. Like if I have that scene any longer, you're like, oh, I guess I can see the seam here, but that's not what the purpose is. The biggest thing that I learned, like, when I was going to college was like, because of my ADHD, I didn't really understand like body language, or when people were uncomfortable when they were talking to me.
Oh yeah.
And I had a whole class, I think it was like 3 months of just like, this is what a person looks like when they're angry, animate that. And you would animate like a scene for 3 weeks of a character being angry or whatever, and I was like, oh, I see this in the people I'm talking to.
Okay.
And it helped with retail a lot. Like I would literally be like, listen, I understand you're upset, like, and you don't want to talk to me right now, but I'm trying to help you. And they'd be like, oh shit. Like, super weird.
Oh yeah. Did you ever personal question, did you ever take any medication for your ADHD?
No. I've talked about it a little bit on the stream, but I'll tell it again for anybody who hasn't heard it. My family didn't believe I had ADHD. My mom refused to believe that, and my entire life I pretty much was told, like, Steve is smart, but he doesn't know how to focus. And
of course,
and it was reinforced in school too. Like I failed an algebra class like my second year in, and then when I took summer school, which I thought was going to be terrible, it actually provided me like the learning and practice that I needed, because it was so personal. Like I needed personal attention, and I needed to be able to ask questions in the moment, not raise my hand and be put in a stressful situation. And so it was the first time in my entire life that I ever got an A in math. I got an A+ in math.
Nice.
And so I felt really proud of myself. And my school counselor was like, listen, I understand that you like failed out of algebra when you did it, and you got an A+ during summer school, but we're going to hold you back, like, and put you in the dumb math class.
Oh, same.
And I was like, fuck, dude, you guys don't even take me seriously when I try hard. You guys don't try to, like, you know, care about me in any way. Why should I care about this shit? So I started smoking weed and enjoyed a mental ban.
Nice. Well, you know, that's what you do. Yeah, I had the same thing where I was just doing really poorly in school. I never did homework. I still hate homework to this day. If someone's like, hey, go home and do this, I'm like, nah, I don't want to.
Yeah.
But I would score really high in tests, and then eventually I got diagnosed with ADHD, and I got on medication, and it made me a complete zombie.
Wow.
Yeah, like I just didn't want to talk. I just walked and did my thing. And you know, fortunately and very unfortunately, I got bullied enough to where I got out of high school, and then eventually learned, you know, how to learn. Basically, I learned how to know what I want to know outside of a classroom environment. And I just recently got back on ADHD medication, but like I only do that if I need to focus. But even when I do that, like I'm kind of quiet.
Yeah.
But I feel like, you know, you just have to find the right environment to learn.
Agreed. I think like everybody has their own unique way of learning, and I know people, like, I know me personally, like I was never a reader. I think that got like that kind of got like beat out of me, to be honest, like in terms of just the learning environment, because you'd have to do book reports on things that weren't interesting, and you know, I wouldn't even fucking like read the book. I'd show up the day when the report was due, and I'd like, I did the Cliff Notes thing. You know, go online, find summaries of what people talk about the book, and then like I talk about that, and then I would get an A, and I'm like, if I could do this, fuck your learning. Like, I'm not gonna try to do this. It's so stupid.
And I feel like, you know, like schools in the U.S. just have it completely wrong.
Yeah, agreed.
You know? Completely.
Yeah, I think like, I mean, when it comes down to it too, like it's a lot. I don't know, it's conspiratorial, but it does make sense that like this system was set up to just provide people with instruction so that they could follow instruction. But like for those of us who really don't like doing that, or are not like, I don't know, we don't nobody learns the same. I don't understand how you can expect like a cookie cutter system to work for everybody and then shame those who don't like follow the status quo. It's completely fucked. I would have preferred if I just didn't go to class and did summer school the whole time, in all honesty, because like that, I remember like, I don't know, I just remember the whole experience being worthwhile, and I felt very fulfilled, and I felt like the teacher cared about me. And then when school started, it was like, dude, I don't got time, you know? Like,
yeah, for sure. You know, it's cool that you were able to experience that, and I feel like, you know, the way you learn isn't a measure of your worth. Like they'd always be like, oh, you don't understand this? Go to summer school. You're held back. Do this.
Yeah. It's really tough though at the time, because like I can say that in retrospect now, but I can't. Yeah. You know, for me as a kid, and I'm sure you can empathize too, for sure, with what you've shared tonight about like your experience, like growing up in the school system that you did and leaving. You know, being able to leave like that. Oh my god, I lost my train of thought because I got into a room and it said no jumping, and I was like, what?
No, I'm the same way. I'm talking and I'll look at something and be like, oh, here's this thing. What are you talking about?
School system.
Yep.
I was just talking about how recognizing school system is bullshit, blah, blah. Oh, yeah. You can have a lot of empathy for the kids who are probably also going through the same thing and not being listened to. So like my entire life, for me, most of my life, up until I was about 21, 22, when I started like learning about myself and how I could learn and understanding like how I specifically operated and could provide myself focus, because they tell you to focus, but they don't tell you how to focus.
Exactly. Yeah.
The struggle for me was always like, well, what do I do? Like, I'm a fucking idiot. So I had this thought, I had extremely low self-worth that was never addressed, and it was habitual. Like whenever I'd fail a test, or like I'd have any issue with like a class, you know, I'd go home and report cards or grades or a note or whatever was always like like the most stressful thing at home, because you know I'd have that reinforced, like, Steve, just focus, what is wrong with you? And so what is wrong with you has been present in my entire life, and it's something that I can't get rid of like entirely. I'm like,
no, I completely understand. Exactly. Like, it's obviously your problem, so what's your problem?
Yeah, what's your problem? Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
My problem is you're fucking up. Like,
yeah.
You're not telling me how to do stuff.
Yeah, you don't know what you're doing, so, you know.
You're the adult, provide direction and instruction, but they can't. Yeah. You know, a lot of adults aren't really adults. They're just like people who grew up, and when I say adults, I guess mature is the word I would use. You know, they don't understand they're concerned about their existence. They don't really give a fuck about, like, you know, the variables that life gives. It's all about, you know, why can't you learn the way I did? And if you're different, then you're fucking dumb, you know?
Yeah, something's wrong with you.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know, status quo, the whole thing.
Yeah. I was in a special ed math class because I just didn't understand math at all until sixth grade.
They were like, oh, well, you failed math, so we're going to put you for remedial math. And what it was is they put me in this class where it's just computers, and you do your homework assignments after a certain point, and they're like, okay, stop here, and then we'll grade you. And what I did, like, first semester, like, first 2 weeks, is I finished the entire course for the entire year. And they're like, oh, you weren't supposed to do that. And I'm like, well,
I'm done.
I knew it. Yeah, well, I'm done. Sorry about it. And then what I did was, because, you know, I was rebellious at the time, I'm like, well, I'm not going to show up anymore.
Yeah, I've just passed the whole semester's worth of classes.
Yeah.
Fuck you, you're wasting my time.
I'm gonna go home now.
Yeah. Hey,
and I like passed by the like skin of my teeth only because of homework and participation. But I'm like, obviously there's something wrong with you guys if I can pass the whole thing, but you still want to fail me or want to try to fail me because you have these, I don't know what curriculum, or you have these guidelines.
I'm not following your guidelines. Yeah. Fuck off, dude. It's so stupid. Like, just if a kid can skip school, like, and go straight to college because of the grades he's getting, you should be able to do the same fucking thing. Okay?
Exactly.
It's not any different. Yeah. They're just like, oh, well, you can't do that because of the rules. I'm like, you should put me in a harder class, you fucks.
Like, yeah, I don't know. And, you know, in the same note, like, I used to be in high school orchestra, and like my teacher who I had for a few years was like, you're really gifted, like, you know what you're doing and you can play by ear and blah blah blah. It's like, okay, you know, I feel good about that, thank you. But no one else sees that I'm intelligent. They just think I'm, dumb and need to be in remedial classes. And they even had like people come out from Georgia State University to give me IQ tests, and there were certain
Whoa.
things I couldn't pass because it was like, I don't know what you're trying to tell me to do. And at the time, like at the time, I got really upset about it because I was like, I just feel really dumb.
Yeah.
Doing these tests, I don't want to do it anymore. But like once the results came back, like, okay, you have a blah 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 IQ, you're above normal.
Pivotal. Thank you.
Do this and that and blah blah blah. And I was like, okay, well, then school's just not for me.
Yeah, I wish I was able to make that decision. Honestly, I would have given up a lot sooner, but I just ended up like spending a lot of my parents' money and being mediocre at a lot of things.
No, I get it, because after that, I felt like I was like, oh, well, I just must be dumb, so I'm just gonna coast through life and try to figure things out on my own.
Yeah.
And without education, or without the paperwork for your education, a lot of people don't give you a chance.
True. Yeah, I mean, they heavily weighted on that, right? It's like it's the same thing with like anybody who's got no education or has a criminal record. Fuck you. Like, that's literally it. Exactly. It doesn't make any sense. If we don't care for people who need actual help, and then don't provide programs or avenues for people who like
adequate education. You know what? Thankful, maybe I'm kind of thankful for being seen that way, because as I've grown older, I've seen how elitist it can be, and how there's so much weight on this one thing, even though that is not a measure of your worth and not a measure of your intelligence.
Yeah.
And I'm a little bit grateful, because now, I don't know, I'm just like, I don't know, maybe I'm just too like, maybe I'm too punk rock, but I'm just like, fuck all this, fuck, these, what would I say? Fuck these rules you put up.
Yeah, fuck the rules. Yeah. Well, that's the thing is like they try to compartmentalize people, right? And like when it comes down to the world that we know now, the days that we night Nick, thank you so much for the raid, and thank you so much for the gifted sub to Kadami. I appreciate you. Can we get some good nights in the chat for Nick?
I give him kisses.
Give him kisses, man.
A kiss from me. It's Pride Month, so a kiss from a gay is good luck.
Yes. Lost my train of thought. Oh yeah. So like the way they set up everything is like it's all compartmentalized, but the world as we know it now, with the internet and what everybody's doing right now, being able to stream and like have people come in and have conversations and share their experience, like this can be a thing too. It's just so
it is
crazy.
A thing. Yeah. I've actually tried to explain it to my dad, because I told him about it. I was like, hey, people do this. Like, no one does that. You need a real job. And I even brought you up. I was like, I have a really good friend who's doing a really good job, and it's more than your worth of what you can make money wise. It's about having a community and people that care about you, and you make a change. And you have, like, you specifically, like, I'm just gonna raise you up a little bit, but like you have been done so much good, like everything you talk about and all the stuff you bring up with people with the conversations and stuff, like it is a really great thing you do, because a lot of people don't have these conversations, and I just think you're doing so much good.
Thank you.
Yeah, like it's not like forced, like you're just a genuinely good person.
Thank you.
I'm
trying to work on myself a little bit more this year about like accepting compliments and stuff, and I've been getting a lot better at it, and I really appreciate you. Thank you.
Oh, no problem. I think about that too. Like, people give me a compliment, and I'm like, oh, no, it's this, it's that. But like, one thing I try to remember is that what you think about yourself is no reflection on reality. Your friends know you more than you do, and if they say nice things, it means something.
Yeah, that's been honestly like one of the. It actually happened today. I like, Colt reached out and he messaged me, and I was reading it, and I was like, I was at work, and I was like tearing up, and I've been trying to like, my favorite thing, and I did tear up a little bit when you're telling me this. I've been trying to, my wife has been like instrumental in letting me like open up, because she's very emotional. She's got like she literally has a tattoo of a heart on her forearm, because she's a emotional person. Yeah, it's on her sleeve, and she's very feely and like expression, like she expresses herself very well when it comes down to like her emotions. And for me, growing up the way I did, it was never something that was permitted. I was never allowed that. without being called names or anything. And so Twitch has been absolutely instrumental like in all of this, and thank you so much for the kind words. It really does.
And I'm so glad that you did Twitch, because like I think it brings out the best in you, and all the praise is definitely worth it. You're a really, really good guy. And I don't even remember like when I started following you, but like I just kept following because you're a genuinely good person.
Thank you.
I know I don't like being gooey either, because just the way I was raised, but like I don't know, you should feel as good as people think you are, because you are that thing.
Yeah, like I said, it's just a process, so I'm slowly surely getting there. And I mean, if I just thank you so much.
You're welcome. You've always been a really good friend to me. I'm gonna be gooey in front of everybody, but
yeah, please. It makes I used to be like, shut up, shut your fucking mouth. That's how like I would defend myself against compliments, and I still do sometimes depending on like my mood. But yeah, I really do appreciate it. Yeah, and you and me got introduced like, I don't know, it was I think it was Instagram first.
Yeah. I honestly don't remember, because the thing is, like in my mid-20s to late 20s, I made a lot of friends just being drunk. Like, oh, and I'll admit it, like I was like my best friend Brian, you know, fake nerd boy.
Yeah.
We met because he added me on Facebook, and at the time I didn't add people I didn't know, but I was like, oh, I must have met you when I was drunk. And,
was it true? Was that how you guys met?
Yeah, he added me because he was good friends with someone I knew from the internet, but at the time I was like, internet friends, that's not real.
Yeah, yeah. But, well, the internet friends used to not be real, right? Now they were just like your online friends, but now it's like, dude, we're talking on Discord and like sharing personal stories and stuff.
Like, you know, and you meet the people you meet online now.
Yeah.
They're not, you know, because they always warned you, oh, it's just some 40-year-old man. I'm like, well, maybe that 40-year-old man's pretty cool.
Yeah. Dude, agreed. I've had people that I've played games with and I've had conversations with, and they're like, they're like, oh, how old are you? I'm like, I'm 30, and they're like, what the fuck? I'm like, yeah, I'm 30, dude. Like, oh, I thought you were like 23 or some shit. I'm like, no, dude, I'm 30. I'm very like I'm very goofy, and I've got like a lot of energy, so I guess I've got like that 23 shit going for me, I guess. But
you seem like you'd be like you don't have your life together.
Yeah, exactly, yes.
No, but I think it's so beautiful and so great, and you know, you're one of the people I'm really glad I met.
Jesse, the feeling's mutual. Anytime I see you in the chat, or like I see you on Twitter, or like I get a fucking your photoshops, by the way, like they make me so happy. Like that the horror stream that we did.
Oh yeah.
The absolutely not. Like I was talking with Leia, I was like, I should definitely put that on a shirt, because
yeah, go ahead. Yeah, you know, I'm learning Photoshop. I've been trying to learn it, you know, by just messing with it. And I'm like, I love doing it. I love taking, because you do so many like fun faces. I want to screenshot them and then like, you know, put them on there, and you do another one. I would do that, and you know, I've just been learning how to do really basic stupid shit. But like, just every time you always say, you know, it makes you laugh or whatever, and that means the world to me, because I just want to make people laugh.
Yeah, you're succeeding.
Thanks.
Yeah.
But yeah, you know, if you ever want to use any of my bullshit, go ahead. I don't give a shit.
Oh, will do. Will do. I saw that there was somebody else in the queue. It was Rydar, but
oh yeah.
Was there anything else you wanted to talk about before I reach out to him? I think he might have left, actually.
No, I just
want to shoot the shit.
I'm you know, I'm gay and I'm more important than the sun, so everyone should know that.
Well, I'm glad that, I mean, thank you for sharing the coming out story. Well, I guess we could talk a little bit more. Oh, he's got a phone appointment. Okay, no worries. I actually want to talk a little bit about like where you're at now. Do you have like, are you still talking with your parents still? Like, I know you're talking with your mom, right? But like, how's the
Okay, so what happened was, fortunately and unfortunately, like, I was living in a really cool place to the east of Atlanta, northeast of Atlanta. And when COVID happened, I actually quit my job to go to a new place. The new place, as soon as COVID happened, closed down.
Oh, wow.
I'm like, oh, I'm sorry, we can't hire you. I'm like, oh, what should I do? So I told my mom about it, and my dad was like, yeah, just come over here and we'll, you know, just stay here until you figure out what's going on. So I've been here the last few months, which hasn't been bad at all.
That's great.
Yeah, fortunately I had the safety net. And now, you know, I'm just looking for places because I have a job now, and I'm a new job in retail, and I'm ready to go somewhere. And Ryan's been wanting me to move out to Arizona, so I've been looking at places there.
Oh, nice. I've never actually like met Ryan. I've just been in a few of his streams, and he's so fucking kind, dude.
Oh yeah, what you see is what you get. Same with Jess. Like they're the kindest, funniest people in the world.
I can only imagine Jess.
Oh my god, she is fucking insane, but she is so sweet.
Yeah, no, I believe you, dude. I think like I've only gotten to know Ryan more, obviously, just because he's done streams and stuff, and I haven't really gotten to know Jess at all, like outside of I know she does cosplay and I know she's fucking good at it. But if Ryan is any sort of like barometer for how Jess is as a person, like it's fucking awesome.
They're
like,
basically the same people.
That's what I assume. Yeah.
Yeah, like she has one of those credit cards that has Sky Miles, and she's like brought me out to Arizona and like California and stuff, just using her miles. Like, I just want to see you, come out.
Oh, that's like, so nice.
Yeah, no, they're sweet as shit, and like hopefully one day, once all this COVID is over, like I would love to introduce you guys, because they would like you too.
Oh my god, I'm getting raided and it scared me. Sorry.
Ooh, who's raiding you?
Hey, Misty. Oh my goodness. One time, Konky turned into a bird and carried a newborn baby to its parents, Konky Storks. God damn it, only. They've been doing this thing, dude. I left Discord for like maybe 5 minutes, and they had changed my how KonkyTalks. They kept telling like a short story and then replacing the second part talks with like other fucking words. It was I was like, what the hell? What are you guys doing? They just kept going like Konky Spooks and all this shit. But yeah, dude, I would love to meet them. I think like, I don't know, dude. I always felt like I got to experience this at TwitchCon a little bit though. So I know that anybody who has any sort of like success on social media or just like in a creative space is really skeptical about like everybody they come in contact with, because most of the time it's like, what do you want from me?
Exactly. Yeah.
And that's honestly been like my biggest hesitation for like reaching out to other content creators too. I'm like, do they like what? They're not going to give me the time of day. Why should I even try? But I really should just be more brave about it and just not have, because for me, I don't have any expectations. Like, there were so many people that I had met on at TwitchCon where I was like, hey man, you don't know me obviously, so my name's Steve. I don't need to know you don't need to know my username. I don't give a fuck about that. Right. I just want to let you know that I appreciate what you do and thank you. Yeah. And they were like, oh wow, yeah, thank you. I'm Paul or whatever. And I was like, thank you for introducing yourself as like a person, because I've had there were some people that like I went up to and I was like, oh yeah, I'm Steve, and they'd say their username back to me and they'd look me in the eyes like waiting for some like thing of recognition. I'm like, nice to meet you, Jordy 47. Fuck, dude.
Nice to meet you, Ninja.
Yeah. Super weird.
No. Yeah, being kind of like in the behind the scenes with that, like I've seen it, and I've also met those same people who are like, hey, this is my name, you should know who I am.
Yeah.
And but something that got like, I'll just tell you, like with cosplayers, like when I first started hanging out with Jess and Ryan at cons, there are other cosplayers who are like really well known and stuff, and some of them are really nice. I'm friends with them, and then you have some who I don't know how to word it, but they think they're somebody.
Oh, it's like ego.
Yeah, and then at first it hurt my feelings. It was like I'd go out with them, and then I'd get these like up and down elevator eyes. Look at me like, are you somebody? No, okay, I'm gonna ignore you.
Yeah.
And then I got over that real quick once I realized that a lot of people don't know it, but like those well-named like cosplayers don't make jack shit money.
Oh, well, yeah. I mean, if they're not cool to hang out with, why the fuck would anybody surround themselves with?
Yeah,
it's
and
all
like
superficial.
And Ryan told me like, you go up to their booths at cons, no one's there. And I was like, oh, well then why are they giving me the shade? Why do they look at me like I'm nothing? And I got over it, and I was like, oh, fuck you guys then. But I've met some really cool people who are like well known, and they're super sweet, and they say the same. Like, we met people who want to get somewhere, they want to know you for networking. And they just try to seek out cool people. So I met some really great people that way. But and any kind of niche kind of
has those people. Yeah.
There's always some kind of elitism or gatekeeping.
Yeah, but, definitely.
Yeah. And
Yeah,
I feel like
I think that's so intimidating because I'm so used to. I haven't been really exposed to it. I'd like to say I'm like pretty naive when it comes down to like online stuff. I really rely on like friends to tell me what's up, and if they don't tell me, then I don't know, because expending all that energy to know that stuff is really difficult.
it really is. Yeah.
So like why bother keeping up? I don't need to know. There were some people, I don't remember where I was. It must have been TwitchCon, where it was like, did you know who that was? I was like, no, I was just saying hello. Like
Right.
Yeah,
I
they're
mean,
like, oh my god,
they're
that's
still people.
yeah, they're people. I don't understand like why you need to freak out. Like, just if you treat them as a person, I would assume that that's probably better than not doing that. I don't know.
Right. No, and like I guess it depends on who it is, but like, you know, if you were in one of those, if you were in their place, wouldn't you want to meet people who are just normal?
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
acting normal, being cool.
I agree. Yeah, that's definitely what I would want to happen.
Yeah.
Man.
That's what got like that's what kind of got me burnt out on cons and stuff, just the gatekeeping. And you know, I'm not a name dropper. If I go up to somebody and be like, hey, how you doing, I'm not gonna say, oh, I know your friend this and that. I just be like, hey, how you doing? And if they don't give me the time of day, then I'm like, okay, well, fuck you, I'm gonna go get a drink.
Yeah, that's true. I'm like, okay, cool, man, bye.
Bye.
Yeah, bye. Yeah, it's
Have fun.
especially weirder. I would say, I don't know how it is at cosplay conventions. Do people like approach like your group of people like with business cards in hand? Is that like
all the time, all the time.
okay, so it is like TwitchCon. Okay.
Yeah, like people take photos and like, hey, here's my business card, and Ryan will hand it to me, and I'll joke about like, okay, it's going in the trash.
Yep.
But like, yeah, I'll hold on to it, but it doesn't matter. But then like, I remember a photographer took a picture of Jess once, and he's like, here's my business card. Does she have one? And we're like, no. And he's like, well, everyone should have a business card. Why? That's really bad business. I'm like, well, just you know, we weren't.
I mean, you don't know who she is,
like,
so
yeah, we're gonna be shitty like, do you know who she is? But we're like, no, she doesn't really need one.
yeah.
And then eventually like, he found out she was Jessica, and he was like, oh, that's her.
Oh,
I'm like,
you knew.
Shut up.
You fucking
Shut
knew.
up.
Don't play stupid with us.
Don't be that guy. You know exactly who she was. But yeah, like in the con, like I've done booths with Yaya, you know, because we work together, and people will do that thing too, where like I'll be helping them at the booth, and I'll hold up a sign, like, because she has the line, so I'll hold up at the end of the sign, like, oh, this is the end of the line, blah blah blah, and they'll be like, a lot of people surprisingly think Yaya is a bitch, and they'll say it to me.
Wait, what?
To me. Yeah, people think Yaya is a bitch. English is their third language, so she's kind of, I don't know, people just think she's a bitch by it. But like, they'll come up to me, and then her fiance Brian, he works the booth, and they'll come to him and be like, "Oh, Yaya's a bitch," and he'll call him out and be like, "Yeah," and they'll be like, he'll call him out and be like, "Well, why do you think that?" He's like, "Well, a friend of mine just said this, or I came up to her once, and she just seemed like a bitch."
Dude.
I'm like, I don't know. It's just.
Yeah, people, I mean, I think it's, especially in the cosplay community, I can see how that would be like it's very based off of first impressions, looks, and then there's no empathy in that. It's just like, you're not showing me any kindness. It's like, no, like, you gotta understand that this person's been walking around in costume most of the day, and on top of that, this isn't the first conversation that they've had that's like this. So like, what exactly do you expect? Like, maybe they're tired. Just assume positive intent, be polite, and then that's it. Don't worry about like anything else. Don't try to get anything out of them other than a hello or whatever, you know?
Right. And the thing that sucks too is like, as friends with people who are well known, like Jessica, Ryan, and Yaya and stuff, it's like you can't try to defend them just because of.
They don't need it though, right? They can do it.
Yeah, and the thing is, just like, you want, like, if it was anybody else, like just a regular friend, and someone was like, "Oh, they're a bitch," I'd be like, "Well, fuck you, you piece of shit."
Yeah.
But like, you can't do that with them because they have a business, they have a, you know.
Well, you're an extension of them, right? So you're within their network. You got to represent them to a certain degree.
Yeah, and it sucks. And at the same time, like, I'm one of those people who, like, I'm not a name dropper. I don't want to like be like, oh, well, she's my friend, blah blah. You shouldn't say this.
Yeah.
I just have to be like, okay. It almost goes against like what you would do with a friend, just because they're their own business.
Yeah. That's such an interesting thing. Yeah. I can't imagine like I'd imagine there's a lot of similarities with like TwitchCon and like how people act at cosplay, but I feel like a lot of well, I guess maybe it is. I guess the terminology I would use is like superficial. Like, what is the quality of your work?
Totally,
you know what I mean?
Superficial, yeah. And one of those industries that's based on your looks, it's totally gonna be full of toxic people.
Yeah, yeah, because there's a lot of like conceited behavior and shit like that.
Right. And what's it like at TwitchCon? Because I've never been. I've always wanted to go.
Yeah, TwitchCon is interesting. I think like, well, as somebody who like, I don't know, I'm not trying to suck my own dick or whatever. Okay, I'm just trying to say that it was really cool like meeting people who I only knew by username. Yeah. Like, and had chatted with and had seen in chat for like a long time. Like they recognized me, mustache and all, and it was like Konky and like yelling my name. You know, and then I walk up to them and I'm like, I don't know who you are, and then I see their badge and my fucking all the neurons fire in my brain. I'm like, we've been talking for like 3 years just in chat. That's so cool.
That's awesome though. Yeah, that's awesome that you can recognize them. I'm so bad with names to where Ryan would have to tell me like, oh, this is yada yada. I'm like, okay, there they are.
Yeah. I think the biggest thing for me that I really enjoy about TwitchCon is that I mean, you listen to podcasts and stuff, right? So like imagine like you have friends that you have been mutually listening to their podcast for a long time, but you've never directly spoken to each other.
Yeah.
So like initially there's like this weird like, this is real and you've got legs and you're in front of me. And then it, like everything just gets extremely comfortable. Like it's almost like you've known each other for years and years.
Right. Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. And that's one of those things with podcasts. Like if a good podcaster will make you feel like they're your friend.
Thank you so much for being here. Also, Potato Chan, hi. Yeah. Like so Silent Steph is like somebody I've who's I guess like quote unquote newer, but has been around for a while. Pivotal has. I don't understand how it's already been like 3 months. It's fucking wild. But there's just been people that have been like in and out. You've been one of the longest friends that I've had, like that I've met online. And we've chatted like a couple times.
Yeah, we have each other's phone numbers.
Yeah. Yeah, that's like I don't know, it's weird. It's just super weird to like know somebody really well just from like watching their Twitch channel, and then you have it's like I guess the hardest part honestly is like when you meet somebody and you could tell that they're I don't know how to explain it. It's almost like they're not comfortable in like the setting because they're overwhelmed. So like meeting them at a convention and like them saying hi to multiple people, it's not obviously the best time to be like, oh well, let's hang out and stuff like that. You know what I mean? Right. It's like everybody's just got to be doing their own thing. And you shouldn't expect anything other than like a hello. And if you see each other, you know, I don't know. I'm a firm believer that like if you're, and this happened constantly. It was like I had 3 or 4 different friend groups that like I circulate between, and it was like, okay, well, I you know what? I'm probably gonna see you later. If the universe works the way it does, and I think I said this like multiple times. They're like, oh, where are you going? All this stuff. I'm like, well, I'm actually gonna go meet up with a friend here. Like I'm leaving right now. But if the universe works the way that I think it does, we're just gonna gravitate towards each other. And sure enough, I kept running into them. It was like, I don't know. You know that music video 50 First Dates by Blink-182?
Yeah.
Imagine just the song playing, the music video, and all 3 of us are in separate like scenes, and then we just keep meeting up somehow, like serendipities.
Yeah. I get that. And the same with cons, like we'll meet people we know. Obviously, like we know a lot of people. You'll meet them, and it's impossible to meet up with anyone. Because like you can say, I'll be here right now, but I could be somewhere else in 5 minutes. Yeah. So we like our rule of thumb is always like, if you run into someone, say, hey, follow me. Let's do this. And then if we detach, we detach. But like, you know, you see somebody, say, hey, follow me. Say with Dragon Con. Dragon Con's insane. And you cannot meet up with anyone. And you just say, hey, if you see me. Yeah, that's a party con.
What's I don't know what Dragon Con is.
Dragon Con is the biggest sci-fi comic yada yada convention in the Southeast.
Wow. I've never heard of it. I don't think so.
Yeah, it's the biggest one, and it's known really well for its everyone wears like really great costumes.
Okay.
But it's across 4 hotels in downtown Atlanta, in this whole area, and it's basically open 24 hours for like 4 days, so it's nonstop party.
Holy shit!
Nonstop like AAA costumes, conventions, big name celebrities. But it's one of those things where it's so busy, it's so packed, like you're like shoulder to shoulder, just walking to get you to the hotel, to where it's like, if you see me, follow me, and we'll do this, and we'll try to hang out, and then if we get attached, that's that, but we saw each other. But DragonCon is one of the biggest conventions in the U.S.
Wow.
But besides like Comic-Con.
Yeah. No, I haven't been to Comic-Con in so long. Oh my goodness.
I've never been, just because it was always too far away, and it was one of the things I wanted to do. But now that I'm older, I don't like the crowds of even DragonCon now, so it's like, I'll go to one I want to go.
Yeah, I think in terms of like comfortability, TwitchCon is honestly like the best one that I've been to.
Yeah.
Like in terms of crowd and everything, because there's usually enough space. It's at the San Diego Convention Center.
Yeah.
Which is where Comic-Con is, but when it comes down to it, like I know that Saturday is probably the most overwhelming day, because people are flying in on Friday, picking up their badges, and then they just go to the con like Saturday. But there's so much to do outside of the convention and meetups that occur outside of the convention that the building is not like overtly packed often, which is really nice actually.
Yeah, that sounds really good.
Yeah. If you end up going, that'd be awesome. Yeah.
I would love to go one day. It's just one of those things where now with COVID, now when I'm finally ready to go, it's like, oh, COVID.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, we were just talking about that. I was so glad that I got to bring Leia with last year, because there was this like she knows that I stream, and she respects my huh?
It's not a secret.
Yeah, it's not a secret. Well, I mean, she's my wife, so there's no secrets, right?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, she's always been super supportive, but like the online relationship stuff was like the biggest variable for her, because she just knew I was staying up late with a bunch of people she didn't know, right? So that's the strange part. But after like taking her to the convention and her meeting everybody, she like, I don't know, she even left with like some really good friends too. Like her and my friend Decker got really close, and we're hanging out and stuff, and it was just really awesome.
And cons are great for that, because I don't know, it's just a different environment, and you get to meet people outside of their regular work and life, and because it's kind of almost like a fantasy area. You get to have fun and see the things you love to see.
Right. Yeah, and I think that's probably the biggest thing. I don't know, like in terms of panels and stuff, it's pretty interesting. They've got some like, they had like an improv class, and there's a lot of like charity things that I really enjoyed doing. Like they did an Able Gamers panel, which is that charity that focuses on accessibility for people who can't like use a controller or anything like that. And so they had like people on the panel that were partnered streamers, or streamers that were really popular that play with disabilities, and like how they get around it and what controls they use. And then there was just people, it was just really cool to have like it was mostly like a Q&A with other people who had disabilities, and asking questions about like how they dealt with it personally. And it was just like this conversation where we're talking about like we were diagnosed with ADHD and we felt like we were stupid, like it was so cool. Like those are honestly my favorite panels, are the ones where it's just people sharing their experience, and that's what they allowed themselves to do. It's so nice.
Yeah. And like an experience that you don't live, or outside of your reality.
Yeah, exactly. Like having these conversations about coming out. Like I don't have that experience. I couldn't. It'd be different. Like if I was like, Mom, I'm really sensitive. Like and she'd be like, what do you mean? Why are you so sensitive? Like she would just start questioning me about it. It's not the same. It's not like a life impending. Like nobody's gonna beat me up for that. Nobody's gonna like shun me for those behaviors, well, being sensitive. Male,
if you show up on my turf, I'm gonna kick your ass, but that's different.
If you cry in front of me, I'm gonna beat you up. Like
I mean, if you can't quote Devil Wears Prada at me, honestly, that's homophobic, and we're gonna jump you.
Spit out my water. Easy.
But I would love to go to TwitchCon. Even me and Ryan were talking about like wanting to go one day, but now they're busy, and I'm not as busy, but like it seems cool. And like I saw pictures and stuff, and you actually met my friend, who I said, hey, find them.
Yeah, you were like, find her. And then literally like after you had mentioned that, it was like the same day She was like, "No way, you know Jesse, blah blah blah." So crazy.
That's cool. One day we're gonna meet. We're getting closer and closer.
Yeah. Oh look, Potato Sean's quitting. Devil Wears Prada for you. Are those the Chanel boots?
Yes.
Just talking about you.
I quoted earlier about the cerulean military jacket, or cerulean gowns, and then the military jackets.
Talking about your experience at TwitchCon.
There was a trivia stream, and like only one person got it. I'm like, happy friend.
Happy friend, yes. See, Steph.
So, are you gonna go to the next TwitchCon?
Yeah, 100%. I honestly, like, we were talking about this with a group of friends that we went with last time. Like, it'd be nice to get there like super early so that we have time to just hang out. I don't know if your mic's
muted, but I don't hear you.
My mic is muted? Oh. Yes, but I will plan on going to the next TwitchCon. We were talking about like getting there super early so that like normally it's on the weekend, so we'd get there like on Wednesday, have some like nice chill time, and then have like a Monday to like decompress and hang out.
Oh yeah, and that's if you can do it, like that's a great thing to do for Dragon Con. People are going earlier and earlier, but if you get like a hosting hotel, it's so cool to be able to just go up to your room and chill.
Yeah, agreed.
Yeah. When's the next one? They do it in Chicago, right?
They didn't cancel. No, they don't do Chicago. They do like those are Chicago community meetups. Yeah. Those are different, but yeah, for TwitchCon, it's normally in September, which I mean they haven't announced a cancellation yet or anything.
Right.
But I mean, I'm not gonna go.
Right. Yeah. Same with Dragon Con. Like they haven't officially canceled it.
Yeah.
But like, no, if they do it, there's no fucking way I'd go.
Yeah, like I'm good. You know, I don't need to bring a bunch of people from all over the United States and possibly get infected with a virus that is killing like 100,000 people. I'm good.
For real.
Yeah. I hate to cut this short, Jesse, but I've got a few more people who are in the call queue, and I don't want to
go ahead.
Like leave them alone.
No, I've been here for like what, 20 hours?
Not that long, but I still always appreciate it. And if you are if you catch me streaming or whatever, and you want to call in, like don't hesitate. I'm always down to talk, okay?
Yeah, I saw you've got your like call thing. I just never bothered to do it, but I was like, hey, I want to talk today.
Yeah. And make sure you guys are following Jesse, okay?
Yeah, I stream it again now.
Oop, not SP, SO. There we go.
Significant other, that's me.
Exclamation significant other DrinkyBear. Please go check him out. Smooch that man's follow button.
I'll let you go, but love talking to you, and I'm gonna keep lurking. Okay.
Sounds good. I'll talk to you later, Jesse.
Bye bye.
Bye bye.